Hey there, sister. Just wait for everyone to pop in. Should be a few people coming in to watch. Just put this on. Hey, Dragon. We're just gonna wait for some people to jump in first before we get started. All right. This is for my brother-in-law's mate. His name's Burgos. He's dropped all the parts off. He's gonna be. Oh, here he is. De Berg. That's who it's for. Just waiting for a few people. Oh, Memes is here too. Damn, everyone's coming by to say hello today. Must be the PC parts. So how's everyone going? How'd you handle the heat today, Burgos? We'll go through the specs soon there, Memes. Got all the parts here on the table. It's a pretty bitchin' PC, you know. It will have some rainbow, yes. But just a little. Not as much as the computer you're getting though, right? That one's got like an obscene amount of rainbow. Where's everyone from the group chat, Burgos? Good. And Streamlabs already starting to what's it called, plug. I know you know where I live. You're my sister, you weirdo. Alright. Well, just so I don't go for too much longer. So basically the specs for the PC that we're doing for Burgos is Ryzen 5 3600. It's not an X, but it doesn't need to be an X. If he wants to learn how to overclock later on, he can actually overclock, as all the Ryzen processors are actually unlocked for overclocking. Pair that with a B550 motherboard Wi-Fi by Asus. It's actually a pretty good board. I've heard a lot of good things about it. That's why I looked him up with it. Hey Mono, how you doing, buddy? He's also got Corsair Vengeance Pro. It's a 3200 megahertz kit at 16 gigabytes. All good, Burgos. Hope you at least enjoy a little. And he's gonna have as his main storage for his boot drive and whatnot, he's gonna have a 970 EVO NVMe M.2, which is actually pretty fucking schmick, you know. It's not Gen 4, but at the same time, he's not going to need Gen 4 mainly because the speeds he's going to be using, you know. It's negligible at best. He's also got 2TB Seagate Barracuda. That's going to be his redundant drive. So that's going to be for all his games and stuff that he doesn't play on the regular. Pairing it all is a... Well, actually, no, you know what? We'll save that for last, yeah. Powering it all is going to be this Cooler Master 650 watt fully modular gold, 80 plus gold power supply. It's actually really good. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is the same one that's in the other PC that I'm giving to my sister tomorrow. It's a really good power supply. That thing's holding up with a 4.7 gigahertz overclock, 8700K, so we know that one's going to actually work out well. Hey Porgy, I'm not giving you the PC, we've already been paid to do it by the Berg. And the exciting part, 2070 Super. It's not a 30 series, but believe you me, you'll get the job done and more. So, he's also got an Ava Media capture card. So, as it says here, streaming product for YouTube and Twitch. It's got some amazing reviews. I've not used it myself. I've only ever used a Elgato, but like I said, amazing reviews, and this one should do 1080p 60 frames uncompromised. Pretty nice if you ask me. Yes, so that means he's going to be able to stream. No, this is slightly less powerful than yours. It's a very similar GPU, but it's got a slower CPU because you've got the 9900K. So yours is actually a lot faster and can overclock a lot faster. But yeah, so he's going to be able to stream all his consoles as well. He's just going to plug them in, so it's actually going to be a pretty decent PC. So it's going to do very nicely, yes. So I guess we just get started, shall we? Obviously when you start, you always make sure you've got a clear area. It's not dirty, not dusty or anything, you know. Usually people use anti-static straps. I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to do is touch my PC occasionally, because all that's going to do is help me earth, because it's connected to an earth line through the power supply towards the power grid. So any static electricity that I might make is going to stop that. Another way to do it is to touch this little metal part here on my mic, because it runs all the way through, so that works, and that way we don't have to worry about shorting any of the parts. It's this little Wi-Fi antenna there. It's a nice little nifty one. Now the cool parts about motherboards, a lot of people take for granted, isn't actually the motherboard itself, it's what's included. They always come with spare M.2 screws, which, as a person that likes to build PCs all the time, these actually come in handy a lot, because sometimes people want to get M.2s into their PCs but they don't have that. So yes, static electricity can short out all the circuits on motherboards as well as the components in the PC, so it is actually a bit of a volatile thing to have. But in saying that, as long as you're careful, you're fine. And yeah, so it's the main reason why you don't put PCs on carpet, other than the fact that you're checking off air supply coming in from the bottom of the case. But yeah, another thing that's good with the motherboards, come with 2 SATA cables. 2. I'm going to route both of these through the PC for him. He's only going to need one currently, but in case he wants to put in another hard drive, he's going to have that opportunity straight away. Just be plug and play. So that's why it's great to have these beauties. Alright. And always take the IA shield out of the box before you start. Also take the user guide, just in case of the front pins. Is this one with it? The front pins, some manufacturers it's different. Usually they're very similar to the same, and they're always the biggest bitch to connect. Ooh. Alright, so this one's assuming you've got a plug for it. Oh, I guess I'll just go standard. Should work. yeah, so we're also going to be using a stock air cooler for the CPU, so you don't have to worry about that overheating. Stock air cooler for the AMD series CPUs as of late has actually been really, really good. In fact, I ran one with my 3900X for a pretty long time actually. Drop that on there just so I don't damage the components on the back side. Oh, actually, I'm going to be starting with the CPU. We'll show you. So, when you're looking at the motherboard, you got just up here, pretty sure it's this one, and this corner here. You can see how there's like it's just a little bit of a square that's taken out with no pinholes. That also has a little bit of an arrow there. You can't really see it on the stream, but that it's a big thing. So let me just open up this box with my trusty knife. Put that away. So the reason why we got to worry about that arrow is because on the CPU, actually on the die itself, there is an arrow that helps you line it up. If you don't line it up, you can actually damage the CPU itself. You can damage the motherboard too, but it's a lot less of a worry seeing as it's a lot more robust. Now, so you look on the bottom of the CPU here, there's this little gold triangle here, just on this corner. So that's what we got to line up with on the motherboard, alright? Hey Mill, hey Jags, how you guys doing? So when we do it, there's a little arm just here. Just gonna push that to the side, lift up. It's gonna move the whole plate across. It's like a locking mechanism where it pinches it. 100% memes. And yeah, so it's just gonna pinch all those pins down. It's gonna give a quick look just to make sure none of the pins are bent, because sometimes they are. No, they're all good. Another hot tip, go from being just rising up, just turn that 90 degrees to the right. That's the easiest way to put it in, you know. Yeah, Lannis hot tips, you know. And you shouldn't have to push it down at all, or just seat in if you've got it positioned correctly, you know. And yeah, you just push that arm down. CPU is installed. Very nice, very quick. Yes. Going to the CPU cooler next. It's not that big, so it doesn't get in the way. Comes in the box with the CPU. It's nothing too fancy, no RGB or anything, but what it does have is pre-applied thermal paste. That little circle there, that right there will allow the correct amount of heat transfer between the CPU's die and the cooler, and actually allow it to cool down. So we're going to have to remove some clips that are currently set on there. Where the fuck's my screwdriver? I had it out just a second ago specifically for this. Here it is. Big White. Very nice brand, you know. Yeah, so just these little black clips on either side of the CPU. That's what we're going to get rid of. We don't need it. There are a lot of CPU coolers that do use that, but the one that we're using is not. It's just going to use the screw mounting holes. We're just going to quickly remove that. Seeing as we've got this placed down on the box, we don't have to worry about the back plate moving too much. That's pretty top shit, if you know what I mean. guess a lot of people want to watch PCs being built. Hey Mel, I was going to do this a while ago with a mate that I used to work with, but just couldn't get the setup to work properly, eh? Alright. So you've got 4 screws on the cooler itself. That's what we're going to actually use to mount into the back plate. That's what those clips were connected to. Can only go one way, or 2 ways, but it's like keyed. So see how it's a rectangle? So it won't actually work like if we would go 90 degrees, you know what I mean? Like, kinda, obviously, but yeah. So I'm going to mount it with the AMD on the right hand side because that's just the way I like doing it. Gives it enough room for the cable to move. So it's a little bit nice. So you just line up all the screw holes. They all have springs on there to give it the proper retention that it needs. So you basically just go out until it stops. Just obviously you go little bit by little bit, like you do with the car wheel. You go in a star pattern. That way you're applying even pressure the whole time. It's not that bad because we're using pre-applied thermal paste, but if we were to apply our own, it actually comes in, like, you put a little dab on there so it spreads it out everywhere, you know what I mean? Oh, 100% Emil. Every time I build a PC I'm going to try and stream it now, because I thoroughly enjoy doing it, you know. Might even turn this into a YouTube video, you know. Oh, and yeah, the screws will also stop automatically. Oh, that's the wrong screw. They won't let you go too far, but at the same time, thanks to those springs, they'll apply the full amount of pressure needed. Also, pack up as you go. Easiest way to keep your area clean and tidy. You don't have to worry about any extra mess, you know. And for those that know me, cleaning as I go. I don't clean. What you don't know right now is that side of the room's an absolute pigsty. It's literally just haphazardly piled up just so that I can do this stream. But that's okay. We're going to do the NVMe storage next, just because I like it. It's very nice, very sleek. It's very tiny too, so you got to be very careful with it. I should have used my knife for that. The box is teared now. Shit. Oh well. Trust me, you won't be returning this. As long as it's not broken, you won't be returning this ever. Yeah, this is where the bag of these comes in handy. And where it comes in handy having one of these sets, because you can't use a standard screwdriver with these screws as they're so fucking tiny. Like, oh my god, tiny, you know. Like, put it in perspective. That's it, right there. That's how tiny it is. I'm sorry it's not focusing, but it's freaking tiny. So what we do is we just get our bits that's the right size. Set that aside. Grab out our drive. Now, just below the cooler, you'll see this little mount here. Hey Rez, how you doing? I'm doing good, man. We're actually going to put this in at a 45-degree angle with the 970 Evo sticker up. So we plug it in on the angle, and it will push down, we'll screw it down. Luckily the standoff's already in place, so we just have to screw into that. We don't have to move the standoff at all, which we'll more than likely have to do when it comes to the case. It's a pain in the ass to do, but it's part of PC building. You just tighten it all the way. The standoff's got a little shoulder on there that will stop you from over tightening it, so you don't have to worry about that at all. And that should be the last bit that we'll need that screwdriver for. Just set that aside. And I'll set the drive box aside as well. Oh, I've got the CPU box over there. Now, move on to the RAM. Just quickly plug this in, get that out of the way. There's a little fan header, usually on the top right hand side of the motherboard, that's labelled CPU fan. And that's just where you plug the cooler's fan into. Now, if he wants to change this over to 32 gigs, he's gonna have to get the cooler taken off, because he doesn't need to right now. It'll be fine, because see the light grey ones out of these 4 DIMM slots? We're only going to use the light grey ones. Alright? They've set it up so if you don't have a low tolerance like clearance RAM, use the 2 outside ones, because dual channel, as well as the fact that it's further away from the CPU, so it gives you that little bit of extra headroom. There's a lot of the times you can get a cooler that's very, very big. The cooler I've currently got in my PC overhangs both sides by a lot. So in those kinds of circumstances, that's why they've designed it so you use the 2 furthest that match. Alright, I'm back. I apologize for that. I kind of knocked the cable out of my phone that I'm using to hotspot. So I'll just wait for everyone to reconnect. Hey Dragon, we'll just wait for everyone to reconnect. Meanwhile, I shall take a sip of my beer, you know. Oh shit, okay. So, I understand that the stream went off. I accidentally unplugged my hotspot. Silly me. And I didn't expect it to say 0 viewers to 19 viewers as well, so I apologize. Yeah, so where we left off. 2 RAM 6. 2 light grey DIMM slots. The light grey ones are the ones you use first. You only ever populate the black ones when you have 4 DIMM slots. So you fill the whole thing up. Alright. They're also keyed. So if you look at the DIMM, you can see this little notch here. It's not centered. I'll get the other one and show you. You put them the same way, upside down. See how they're offset? That means you can only put them in a certain way. And that is usually going to be this sticker towards the air cooler. So that means this notch will be going down. Alright? You basically just put it in until you hear the click. Both sides, equal pressure in the DIMM slot. There we go. Click. It's all good. Next one, same thing. Equal pressure. Click. Clip's going down. All good. That right there if they had a APU, which is a graphics card inside of the CPU, would be a finished PC. Bar the power supply. Also, these white bars on top of the RAM, that gives you the RGB rainbow goodness, you know what I mean. But seeing as that's now done, we shall set that aside and go on to the next part of the project, which is going to be getting the case out, which I haven't showed you yet. It's actually a very nice budget case. Very nice budget case. And we shall prep that with the power supply to get that started, you know. Move that up here, out of the way, so you have enough space to work on the case uninterruptedly. First, we shall open up the power supply box so we don't have to worry about that, alright? Get out the trusty zombie killer again. Just open this all up. Chuck that there. Cool, no tape, sweet. Chuck this one back. Remember, at one point, the sharp side away from yourself, not like I just did. Alright, so we're going to take this cable here, we're going to plug it in now, just that way when we do get the whole thing built, we can test it out, get Windows installed, you know. So just bear with me, I'm going to have to duck below the desk for a quick second. Oh, and I'm back. Alright, so now you basically just grab out the PSU and the cables that we need. I'm going to set them up. So we just pop that bad boy into the case straight away. We won't have to worry about anything else. Screws to mount the PSU into the PC case. That's what we're going to need. And the cables. What is this plastic made out of? Just stretches rather than pops open. Alright. PCIe connector. Need 2 of these just in case. Yep. I highly doubt his graphics card's going to need 2 of them, but just in case. And Jags, yeah, I was going to try and do that today as well, but I don't have a second webcam. I don't know where the one I gave my father-in-law currently is, unless it's just on his computer and I just didn't look. We're also going to need CPU connector. I only need one of these because by looking at his motherboard, you can see he's only got a single 8-pin slot. This has got 2 on there, so we're fine. Also need 24-pin power. That'll give power to the full motherboard and anything that needs it on there, such as RAM. And then untangle this bundle. This bundle of joy. And hate, because it's Molex. Everyone hates Molex. Molex is a trash connector. But what it does have is a little special guy I like to call SATA. And SATA is what will connect his redundant storage drive, the 2TB one, to power. to actually allow it to work. So I'll put all those back. Now I will route both of the PCIe connectors, mainly because if he does decide to upgrade his GPU in the future, it's just plug and play. He won't need to upgrade his CPU, motherboard, RAM, anything, but if he does want to do the graphics card, he can. Everything else should be compatible with the new 3000 series. But in saying that, his 2070 is no pushover either. It will run my setup to the ground. But saying that, he's always got that option now, which is top notch. Also, all these twisty wires, keep them. They are a godsend when it comes to cable management. An absolute godsend. And anyone that says otherwise, they don't know what they're talking about. Alright? So we go 16 and the 6. No. The 14 and the 10 into the power supply. Oh, 18 and 10. My bad. Can't count. Yeah, so on the back of the power supply, you got all these plug holes. They also have these little squares at the bottom of the plugs. In there is a little clip. On the end of every cable, there's a little clip. You see? That will stop it from coming out, which you shouldn't have to worry about, but that's usually just for when you're actually routing the cables through. Or stop you from tugging too hard and it just popping out of the actual power supply. The reason why we like to put the cables onto the power supply first before we actually do the build is it's too hard to get your hands inside the case to, you know, plug it in. But yeah. Also, any questions? As of yet, this is an interactive one, so feel free to ask any questions. Other than, can you have it? Because the answer is no, sadly. No questions? That's fine too. I guess this is one of those streams that you could also just have in the background. Also for the CPU, seeing as we only need one 8-pin connector for now, we're going to use these twisty wire. I'm just going to strap it back to the main part of the cable, out of the way, so that it looks a little bit nicer when we're building the actual PC. Alright, plug that in. Now that is prepped and ready to go. Put that down onto the power supply box, and we shall grab the case. So for a case, it's got the Antec NX400. Whoever drew the photo onto this box, or like did the CAD drawing for it, they don't know about perspective. Like that distance there and that distance there is different, and it's a different angle, but you know what, it won't affect the final product. It just looks funny. I like to laugh at it because it went through with the final product, you know. but that's fine. Oh. Yes, I am holding a knife by the blade. It's incredibly dull. Incredibly dull. Jags, that is perfectly alright, my friend. You just let me know what you need, alright, bro? Ow. Should have looked then, I just stabbed my hand. The point's not dull, I'll tell you that. Well, I mean, you can also tell me what you've already got as your current setup, Jay. That will also help me out, man. Also, burgos. Hate to tell you, man, but you kind of illegally imported a little friend into my office here, mate. There's a little spider running around in that PC case box, mate. So you're gonna have to pay for its visa, alright? Okay. These bags get put on the feet. Okay. It's gonna be fine. Also, what's mad about this case is magnetic filter. You can take the filter off. Oh, you can't even see it. Magnetic filter. See? You can take the filter off and clean it out just by shaking it. Also, still got the gut. Us nerds, they tend not to work out, so we get this thing. You know what I mean? But I'll sit back down now. It's got a tempered glass side panel. Unfortunately, it looks like there's some scratches there, but that could just be in the plastic. Hopefully it is. Otherwise, burgos, you're gonna have to call up Antec because the box is in perfect condition. So yeah, no more chicken nuggets for me. I'm gonna have to steer clear from buying 48 of them every time I go to KFC. I'm a very chonkers man. Be the next Eggy. Alright. Just pop that side panel off. Hopefully that dropping it. And we'll place that into the case box. Because that is the most safe place for it right now. It is glass. Oh, you gotta be joking me. I'm gonna have to get the bloody Molex connector out because freaking case fan's got Molex power. Don't like that. It's weird fucking sticker in there to hide all your cables and stuff, which don't need to do. Part of the PC, so you know what, I'll just stick that on top for now. Go around the back because we're going to need to take the back panel off as well. That way we can actually access where the power supply is going to go in. And I'll give us access to the little goodie box that's in there. Yes, you heard me. Goodie box. The goodie box. Inside you usually find spare standoffs, screws for your hard drives, and extra little cage guards for the back side of the PC, because other than the top two, the others are all snaps, so you actually have to snap them off the case. So these cover for that. It's a waste of material to me, but at the same time, that is press printed, so yeah, it's less effort for them. It also has standoff screws for the motherboard. That way, when you put it in, it's all fine. What we do need to do though is make sure we get the right standoffs in, because otherwise we can damage the motherboard putting it in. It's not good. Actually, before I put the power supply in, we'll do the hard drive, because that will be a bitch to put in as well. The hard drive. So just open that up like normal. Just like a packet of, you know, what's that? Like the sliced cheese, almost. It's kind of how it opens up. It could be weird, but you know, that's how it is. Oh, we're gonna have to take that drive cage out. Alright. Woe is me, I guess. So lay the case down like this. It's just 2 screws on the bottom. They just come out, and then the drive cage will come out as well. Drive cage is also slightly adjustable, just in case you have a front mounted radiator. As you can see, there's like 2 holes here, probably hard to see, but it gives us like about 1 inch of movement, which we're definitely going to use, seeing as he doesn't have a front mounted radiator. So that's perfectly fine. Drive cage. To mount, it's fairly simple, but you just want to keep the right orientation. So that's the way it's going to go in. So we want to have our plugs facing up. It's just going to slide in like so. And then, yeah, we just screw it in on the sides. You can see the little threads in those holes, the silver ones. That's just what we screw into. Only need 2 screws, nothing special. It's not going to be moving around much anyway, you know. Screws should also be located in that little bag here. Comes with the case. Also, the case comes with some zip ties, which is pretty handy to have, especially with cable management, you know. What I'll do, so I'll use a little goodie bag box to dump all the screws in, just to make it a little easier to sort through. This one. You got these kind of hex head, Phillips head ones. They've got a shoulder on them. They're the ones that we want, alright? And there should be, there's one, like rubber washers. Yeah, there we go, 2 rubber washers, that's what we need. These rubber washers, we're going to put the screws on them and against the drive cage. That's going to help to nullify as much as the actual vibrations coming from the hard drive itself, and just make the overall experience a little nicer for burgos, you know. That isn't bombing. Gosh. Oh. Damn, that was a really unflattering angle, wasn't it? Thanks for the posture check there, Dragon. But these rubber washers aren't really working, eh? They just keep getting sunk around it. So you just won't have to worry about them. Sorry, Burgos, you're going to have a little bit of vibrations, mate. But it's better than your drive moving too much. Drive is secured. So just slot that bad boy in. This time we'll move it one over. There you go. I'll grab our little screws that we're holding it on. I'll screw it back in. I know it's just Burgos, mate, but he is paying me to do this, and he paid a lot for the computer parts. So, gotta make sure everything's done properly, you know, or at least as properly as possible. So, that's the hard drive now mounted. I would usually say it's a little low, but he's got a straight connecting SATA cable. That will make it a little bit easier for him so he doesn't have to worry too much. Now, grab our power supply back out. And we'll also grab that Molex connector that I was hoping we didn't need, because most modern PC parts don't use it. But hey, here's one that does. Go figure, right? So just connect this one here, just sit next to the SATA port. Fan goes down, alright? Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. If you don't have an opening above your power supply, always point it down. That's why you don't put your PC on carpet, because it's an intake fan, alright? Means it will suck air from under the case in straight into the power supply, where it's got live capacitors, live bloody coils and shit, which you don't want to get fur and shit on there, because it will start a fire. Alright? It's also why you don't let your pets into the same room as your PC if you have any. Alright, boys? Otherwise, please buy yourself like a data vac, just a little electronic version of a like a little tiny leaf blower kind of thing that will push air to clean it, you know. I myself don't have one, but I usually just get little $8 cans of compressed air from computer stores. They work just as fine as well, but the data vac a lot better. Also, don't think I should have to tell you, but remember righty tighty. Alright. When the last PC I built for a guy I used to work with, he tried doing some of it. I was getting upset because the screw wasn't going in. Don't know how he forgot, but he was going left. Don't go left. Alright. Now we'll undo all this here. Let its golden locks loose. There's your front panel connectors and your front USB connectors. It's basically what allows the computer's case to talk to the motherboard to actually allow it to work. Connect this cable at the top here like so. Just use this tiny little twist tie up here. Just connect it like that. Just for now, get it out of the way. Let the lights back through the back here. SATA, what is CPU, up through the top hole here. Just one of them. That's all you need. Alright. Molex. Just make sure to tuck in that one first because he's not going to use it for anything else in the future. Just tuck it in here between the power supply and the drive cage. Just out of the way. We'll connect last ones. They're like 4 little pins. They never line up straight away on the first go. If they do, consider yourself the luckiest man alive. Which I now consider myself the luckiest man alive. And it's not just because of that nice little $20 I found flying around the ground today. Which, by the way, luckiest man alive. 24 pin power. Chuck that through the top slot because we know it goes near the RAM. So just put that in, drag it down. PCI. We're going to run one of them in over the cage. So we're not going to use it. That's just going to be for later in case he needs it. Other one, we're going to run through a little grommet. It's just down here. Can't really see it, but this is going to be a little bit nicer looking on the end. And tuck the rest away over the hard drive because we're not going to need it. Alright. Got a little SATA power connector for his little LEDs on the front of the case. And the SATA power cable comes with 4 connectors. Alright. Just chuck it onto one of these. They're keyed as well, they're like a little L shape. Don't know if you can see it from here. But it's like got a little tongue on the end of it, you know. So they can only go one way. Also kinda flimsy, so you don't want to be yanking on them or anything. So connect that. Then we'll connect it straight away to the hard drive on the last one, because it's going to be the easiest one to plug in, seeing as how far down it is. Alright, so just bend the cable a little. Won't damage the cables, they're very loose on the inside of the plastic. And that will allow us to plug it in down as far as it is. Also these things are like USBs. You got to plug it in the right way and it still won't fit. You turn around, it still won't fit. And then you'll turn it back again and it will. It's like black magic in cable form, if you know what I mean. Alright, now we just look at where on the motherboard these 3 connectors are, which is your HD audio connector, USB 2.0, and another USB. We're missing cables. Here they are. Actually, I tucked them through. And the front panel, so power LED, HD LED, reset switch. Alright. That's what that is. That one is near the front, so we'll run that through same place as the GPU's cable. HD audio is there it is. HD audio is at the back. Just run it through the grommet down here, just above the power supply. USB 2.0 is below the 24 pin. So chuck it through that grommet there. And then the last one is USB, which is right next to the front panel connectors. So again, same as the power supply, right? Now we'll leave them all loose for now. That way we can plug them all in, pull them back to tighten it up, make it look a lot neater. Alright? You want it to look neat. Especially with the tempered glass side panel, man. So that's all the plugs. You got the CPU up here, 24 pin, front panels. Just going to try and route them all out of the way just a bit. That way we can get the motherboard in properly. We're going to look for the standoffs that we're going to need, which this is a M80X. So we're just going to have to adjust. Which is why I should have my pliers somewhere. I used them just before I set up the stream, so I don't know where they've gone to. Right, there they are. Pliers. Just going to help me get these out, because, you know, one thing I don't have that I should have is the socket set, and I could get these out very easily, because this is all powder coated and it just fucking drills straight in, so they're really stuck in there. Alright, come on, you bastard. Anyone that's ever worked with powder coating knows the hassle of powder coating. You know what? Kind of feel like they messed up with that standoff as well. It kind of feels like it's stuck in there, like threaded almost. It's kind of on a slight downward angle. Nah, still not loose enough to use my fingers. Crazy, man. Yeah, see, it was threaded in there, so it wasn't. I had over tightened it. Motherfuckers. That's fine. We've got spare standoffs that we can use. All right. And because we're doing M80X, not too bad. So a nifty little trick is get the motherboard screws, put them in the standoff. They will tighten up pretty tight doing it this way, but if you've got pliers you can undo it easily. And you can just screw it in like that with a Phillips head now. Actually makes it a lot easier to screw in. Fortunately, it doesn't work the other way sometimes. But it's a really good way to put it in. One standoff done. On to the next one, which is in the corner. As they say, FML. I always hate these ones because I can never get my hand to fit in there properly. I've got humongous hands, you know. Could leave these standoffs in, but it's best not to have anything poking around, especially if you're going to have cables that you're routing. You don't want them to get caught on anything. You don't want them to rip out of their sockets. And like I said, the motherboard hangs down just that little bit extra. You can hit these holes and fuck up, you know. So it's best just to be safe. Not have it in there to begin with. And you don't always have enough spare standoffs, so you'll have to use them anyway, you know. In fact, sometimes you don't get spare standoffs. Some companies are stingy like that. Like I said, big hands, man. They're a killer. No, I'm gonna have to use pliers for that one. Let's get that screw out. It's all good, Jags. You'll be playing with the final product maybe, mate. Because I know you go to Burgos' house all the time, you know. Oh, he goes to your house, does he? Hey, you never know, he might take it there and you can have a little LAN party, you know? just about done with standoffs, which is what stops the motherboard from just laying straight on the PC case. And there she blows. Sweet, now just lay this down, try not to pinch any cables. Just make this here. And now get to our I/O shield, which is, as it says, input output shield. That's what I/O stands for those that don't actually know. It's the input and your output sections of the PC, like your USBs, your PS2 connectors, apparently. But yeah. That just pops into the little gap in the back of the case down here, and you should just hear it click into place. Sweet as. Again, we'll just make sure all the cables are out of the way. We're almost at the final product. Oh. So now we just screw the motherboard into the standoffs. So sorry I keep punching my mic. I'm not used to it being where it is. Alright, motherboard is now installed. So now just go through connecting all the cables. So we got 24 pin. Like I said, they got these little clips on there, so you just gotta rotate it around so the clip meets where it's gotta go. Clipped in. Again, USB 2. There's a little tab on there. It's very hard to see. You probably can't actually see it from where you are, which is fair enough because it's actually very far away. And that tab actually has a little slot on the port itself. So I'll just wire that through there as well. Actually, I'm going to have to take that out. Very carefully, mind you, because that port sometimes comes off, which is no biggie, as long as you don't rip any pins out, which generally doesn't happen. There we go. Pins are all fine. I have to run it through this top grommet here, just below the 24 pin. Otherwise it will interfere with the graphics card. Alright. Also looks a little bit cleaner. PCI, we'll leave that one, we don't need that one. We'll actually move these over to the next one. Through everything else. So it's easier to cable tie afterwards, you know. Oh, okay, this one's got its diagram underneath the actual pins. LED goes positive, negative, and HUD positive, negative, like that. There's that for there. Now the button at the front of the case will actually turn it on. Down there as well. Sweet as, front panel, the hardest one to connect arguably, is now connected. I'll add move the USB cable over as well. It's actually a lot further over than I imagined. And that one will just go in here next to the power case and a case one, you know. HD audio fell out, all good. Run that back through. That's this one here, like so. Alright, that CPU. CPU is arguably one of the hardest ones to do, just because of where it is. Kind of gets in the way a lot. I have that cable there, so it looks a little nicer. Now, just do a little bit of cable management. Oh, actually, we need these bad boys. That way we can actually get a hard drive to work. Which is entirely necessary. We use 90-degree bend ones first for the actual hard drive itself. Again, these are also keyed. They've got like a little L shape inside, they can only go into a port with that shape. Run that through underneath the SATA, power supply, plug it straight in. That one. There we go. I'll plug that straight into the hard drive down the bottom. Cut that cable away. So yeah, cable management is literally just making it look as neat as possible amongst all the chaos. And that's literally all it is. So you just bunch it all up together, tie it down. Get another twist tie. Hopefully without knocking my beer over, that'd be nice. Just make sure that won't interfere with the case. Doesn't look like it, so that's pretty sweet. That's all good. Like I said, I'll wrap this one here as well, just in case he needs it for later. Sorry you can't see it at the moment, just give me a sec. Won't take long, won't take long. Alright. This one I'll just tuck here at the very front. Alright. Sorry about that. Rubber feet. I don't like melamine surfaces. Now we get to see this beauty. The PNY GeForce RTX 2070 Super, which has good reviews amongst all the 2070 Supers, even if it is one of the lesser known brands. But in saying that, because it's a lesser known brand, it's a lot easier to get your hand on it, especially at the moment, seeing as there's a mad graphics card shortage, because everyone wants to build PCs thanks to COVID. Everyone wants to stay at home. It's fair enough, because, you know, not a good thing going around, you know. Yeah. It's allegedly passed the quality check. So, there's that. Oh, look at this sexy little beast. For a small card, you're very nice looking. So, it does not have a backplate, which to some is a deal breaker, but for me, I actually quite like it, because I'm a tech guy, you know, seeing all the PCB stuff, kind of a little, you know, quirky little thing I like. Before placing that in, we do need to unlock these tabs here, which are for the actual graphics card. Unfortunately, seeing as this is a dual slot, we need to snap off one of these little covers, because it's, quite frankly, in the way. Oh, very soft metal this time. This guy should have holes in there for me to go through yet. Yeah, I can listen. This one off. it out. Grab another screw just like that. Start putting you on. Again, just like the RAM, it's got like a little click-in tab. So if you push it in properly, you hear that little click, and you just screw it off. And try not to lose screws as well, that's a big thing. No, we'll leave that off actually because we've got capture card to plug in after this. Go 8-pin first. Very far side. And 6-pin. What I'll do, right, that 6-pin in the front, like so. Just to make it look a little cleaner. You know, it's not perfect, but it will do. Now, this also comes with an installation guide. I already know how to do it, so it's fine. Also, always keep this burgos if you're there, this little bag, in case you decide to upgrade and you want to sell this graphics card, because it's a little static protector. Alright. Now we're pretty much done. Put the capture card in. And boot it up. Install Windows. Tell you what, I like this box, eh? See how it's all like shiny? Very nice, very nice. So this is a graphics card. Not graphics card, capture card. Internal one. Plugs into the motherboard. Single slot. Got audio in, audio out, which you shouldn't have to worry about because your audio burgos is going to be actually on the PC itself, so that's fine. Oh, sick. Comes with a HDMI cable so you can run your PS4 or whatever to it as well. Alright, mate. I'll grab this out, that way I can get the graphics installed. Not the graphics, the drivers installed. And it's gonna run a little hot. It's gonna be right underneath the graphics card. But it should be fine. is a little close. Just leave it sagging a bit to open up the gap. That way it's got some airflow going into it. I didn't count on it being full size, not gonna lie. Like I said, I haven't seen these ones before, but saying that, wouldn't be considered compatible if it didn't work. This is also why I like the cases that are the motherboards that have the little small PCI slots above the 16X. That, my boys, is a fully built, should be fully working gaming PC. Alright. So what we'll do is, gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna have to place it on a box underneath my desk because the power supply cable's not that long. So give me a second. This way we can set it all up to work. I'll drop this HDMI cable here below. This way, if I've set this up properly, you'll actually be able to see what I'm doing on that PC. Also include me unplugging my mouse and keyboard. So there is that. Don't worry, I've got my old motherboard box down here. I'm gonna set the computer on. Cardboard is static proof. You don't have to worry about static going through the box into PC. Tell you what, see if I can show you. How's that for RGB goodness in there, huh? Yeah, look at all that. Alright. So, I'll just switch this scene over. We're going to click that one off. Wait, no, we want video capture. Device, add source, add new source, capture card. Is it going to work? Yep, there we go. Alright, so this is his PC. Alright, just gotta get my mouse and my keyboard's cable. gonna need to route them to his PC so he can get it working. F1 run setup. There we go. Alright, so here's the funny thing. Oh, it's actually. Oh, no, it's not. See? We got 3600 megahertz here, but it's only running at 2133. So what we do is we go into advanced mode. We go to my favorites. Doesn't have XMP there, what? Oh, XMP is a MSI, isn't it? Alright. DRM voltage. Here you go. Change this to 3200. Alright. I go boot. Boot configuration. Fast boot. I'll change. Oh, okay, that's fine then. Usually it's got ultra fast, but that's fine. And I'll get my little Windows 10 installer, which you can't see. It's a little pink USB because you know, maybe use pink for anything else. So connect that. I'll get exit, save changes, and reset. Okay. Windows United time format. We're going to change that to English Australia. There we go. That's it. Install. We'll do this one later because I'm currently getting the product key for it right now. That's fine, you can still install it without it. And I'm getting in Windows 10 Pro. We'll accept, next. And we go custom because we install Windows only. We're going to go to drive 1 because that's his SSD. Just click next, and it starts up. There you go. And yeah, it's just going to be like this for a little bit. So takes a while. But yeah, it's just this now. You just got to wait for it to install. Once it's installed, I'll go in, I'll start downloading drivers, and that's basically it. That's basically all there is to building a PC. Also, what I'll do, unplug my mouse, plug that up here, just move this down there. There we go. Now you can see me. Oh, I need to turn that goal off, eh? There we go. Move. Okay. Turn that one there, that one there. Going up. There we go. And I'll put the mouse back into the other computer because I'll need it now. Yeah, now it's just loading up Windows for the first time. Takes a little while. It's not that bad. What I'll do is I'll connect the Wi-Fi antenna. So once this is done, you can plug it in, and you'll have I can download all these drivers for him. That way we're good to go, you know. And yeah, it's just resetting. That is your PC that you're seeing there, Burger. Fuck, how does this connect? The glue just sitting like that. No? Oh, putting it the wrong way, no? What? What? ass bloody Wi-Fi antenna, man. Can't figure out how it goes in. Do that just for now because I gotta get this connected. Continue as limited. I was gonna finish setting up Windows. Keep going with that. I don't have internet because otherwise it's going to make us log in with an email account. I'll just go Matt, next, enter, no, decline, turn all these off. You can turn any of these back on whenever he feels like it in the settings. And look at this. It's finishing up your setup there, Burgos. And look at that, Burgos, if you're there. The PC is currently up and running. And that was, wow, only an hour and a half, and that's the amount of explanations as well. So what we'll do, got to connect to the internet. Which you should be working with. So I'm just gonna use it now, yes. Restart. It should hopefully restart and let us turn the Wi-Fi on. Otherwise I'll hook it up via hotspot with my other phone and have to do it through that, and that should still help us jumpstart the internet connection. You know what, I'm going to turn my aircon on so it's going to get a bit louder, right? I do apologise for that, but just want to cool this place down. It's actually pretty hot. Plug in the Wi-Fi antennas connectors. Shouldn't matter about what side I put them in, but might have to download the driver for it, so I'll just check these. Going to enter the BIOS, see if anything's in there that we can check. I think I just missed the prompt there. Yep. Shit. Right, you know what I'll do is that. Also get doesn't have USB Type-C on his motherboard. Alright, I shall be right back. hotspot it. Yes. Cancel that one. Create ASUS device configuration. I was saying you choose to cancel download. You can use it. What we will do is we'll set him up with Google Chrome, like any good PC user should. Don't know why Raisin's installing because of my goddamn keyboard. Close. Yeah, so this is literally just us finishing off the PC. Just doing all the software stuff to it now. And hopefully getting his Wi-Fi to work. I didn't have trouble with my Wi-Fi board, but my Wi-Fi board was on the side. They do it slightly differently, but we shall see. It should all be good. Alright, we'll get started. Skip, 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 continue. Actually, we'll get back. Oh, thank you. There we go. Close that one. Ooh, unpin from taskbar. Close window. Pin to taskbar. Close all. And now we go here. NVIDIA GeForce Experience. Download. This is going to be what handles all the like graphics cards updates for the drivers and whatnot. While that's going, what we can also do, Control-Delete, Task Manager, just double check that our clocking for the stuff's going right. So CPU 3.9, that's actually boosting right now because we're downloading something. Memory is 3200 megahertz, that's what we want, that's what they're rated for, that's what they should be at. And that's what the clocking we did is, which is good. Yeah, Chrome, by the way, massive memory eater. 16 gigabytes should be enough, right? On startup, disable that one. That's going to take way too long. Way too long. This gets in the way. No one needs it, you know. It's not necessary. Not necessary, mate. While that's going, we'll open up a new tab. We'll go Asus B550 Prime Wi-Fi drivers. That's it. Because we probably don't have the driver for the actual Wi-Fi enabled on the motherboard. So what we're doing now is we're going to go and actually see. Windows 64, B550 Wi-Fi BIOS, AMD M4 cache, stability, LAN, LAN. That's wireless. That's one. That there should be turning the Wi-Fi on. Should be all you'll need. But what we'll also do, we'll hook him up, get Steam going, eh? Install Steam. Install Steam. Go on, yes. Next. English, yes. Actually, have I got the second hard drive going yet? I do not. Easy fixed. Disk management. Okay. This one here. We're just gonna. This one. There we go. Next. Next. We'll give him. We'll go for A. Yeah. Next. Finish. There we go, new healthy volume. Go Steam. Go ahead, we'll install that onto the hard drive. New folder. Steam. Okay. Install. That way when he downloads games, it'll automatically install into that file, so it's automatically using his 2 TB hard drive rather than his 1 TB one. But in saying that, he can manually change that to his 1 TB hard drive. Just by when he downloads, he just has to choose the download path, which is very easily done. So click on this one. Run. Yes. Support operating system. That's alright. GeForce installing too. CPU should be able to handle doing this. No worries. Also, burgos, I hope you have at least one display cable with your monitor being able to be connected to display, seeing as you only have one HDMI port. If you don't, you'll have to get a HDMI to display cable, which is fairly cheap, like $15 from almost any tech store. Done, which is sweet. to leave him to create a new account for his Steam. It's up to him. And this one, I'll log into mine. Which I should really make so you can't see that. Oh, too late now. Oh wait, no it's not. There we go. And I've got to fix up the keyboard because this uses the wrong setout. That was weird. Bus. It's alright. This is why I don't like default experience, because I can never seem to log in even though, you know, I know it's the right password. Shit. There we go. Continue. Download. What we can also do is we can get on here, do this one, you can see what it's got, 2070 Super, Raspberry 3600, 6-core processor, just top notch, you know. Go, put that longer on that. So we'll go back here, we'll go to this one. Try the land, maybe that'll work. Yeah. So I got that activation code yet, hey? Alright, Windows is now activated, which could also have been a problem with the Wi-Fi. So, Wi-Fi. Yeah, see, that's what the problem is. He didn't get Wi-Fi because of that. Alright. Now we know why he didn't have Wi-Fi. But Windows is activated, so he's now got full capabilities of Windows 10, including Windows Defender, which is actually all you need in terms of something for your computer. So, oh. Hey Eggy, how'd the operation go, my friend? Yeah, there we go. We got all that turned on, which is what we want. Top shit. Go to network. Wi-Fi. Show available. Connect. I'll just get that up. Once this is connected to Wi-Fi, I won't have to worry about using my phone. That's good, Eggy man. Did they say how it went? Like, whether or not you'll be able to go home soon, or are you still going to be there for a few days or a week or so? Going home Sunday. Oofed. Good thing you got that Nintendo Switch, eh? Also, it's funny because they say 3080 available now. Like, look at this. The ultimate play, GeForce 30 series available now. It's really not, because there's absolutely no stock anywhere. But that's fine, because he's got a 2070 super. Just in time for this game. See, look, RTX. Mate, he's going to be able to play with all the reflections going, you know? All of them. Oh, not a bad game. I enjoy this game. Sweet as. Now, what we can do, open that one, open that, go back, I'll just unplug it. It is now no longer connected to my phone, it is now connected to Wi-Fi, at which point we can go here and go to twitch.tv/MR404, enter. And we'll just bookmark this one, you know.
The power and style you want,
just so you know,
now at our lowest price of the year.
And look, we're at minus 3,600 seconds.
We're at minus
counting up.
3,600 seconds.
Yes,
We're at minus
counting up.
3,600 seconds.
Yes, turn dark theme on because we're not heathens. Got all these to get if he goes up to Amazon Prime, you know. That's pretty much it. Looks like his PC is complete. Yeah, I'm not forgetting anything, am I? Yeah, no, look, he's got audio there. Sweet as. That is everything. We'll just delete that. You don't need that. Yes. You don't need that. That was Google Chrome, Steam, GeForce. Downloads. That one, click Control, and that one, delete. Cycle bin, hit that, delete, that. Let's clear it up for him. Okay. He goes, this PC, he's got C, which is his 1 terabyte, and that one. So what I'll do is I'll rename to TB HDD. Continue. Alright, that doesn't want to do it. Alright, that's fine. That's PC complete. We'll just shut down. The RGB turn off. Click that off. Plus these two. Plug them back in mine. Sweet as. All good. Keep that there. Put that. We'll just take this like this. Back of the PC. Just protect it from harm. So turn it back on. There we go. We're just putting the parts back on. Pull this one off so it doesn't need to open the PC up. There we go. PC is complete. Comes the fun part with Tetris, packing all the empty boxes back in. packed PC, everybody. It only took 2 hours. So thank you all for coming. Hope you had a good one. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll catch you next time.